Hey everybody, how are you? Welcome back to art class. So a lot of the things that we learn in art class, we usually focus on like one specific project with that thing. But the reason we are learning those things is not just because you were able to use the technique, the idea, the process just that one time. You can use them in a ton of different ways. This is just kind of like the basics of stuff. You can take these basics, change them, use them however you want, and turn it into your own kind of art. All we're trying to do is just learn a little bit, and then you take that little bit, use it to do other stuff, other awesome, amazing things with. So today is going to be a pretty good example of one of those. We're going to take something that we learned about. We're going to take the idea of perspective, which we've talked about it a bunch. Perspective is that thing that if we're drawing in perspective, we're trying to draw in a realistic way so that if something is really far away from us, it'll look small, and if it's really close to us, it'll look big on our paper. So we can use those perspective ideas to draw anything, really. Anything that you would want to be in real life. Anything that is just made up, completely out of your head, doesn't have to be real. Today, though, we're going to see how we can take those perspective ideas about things getting smaller as they get further away from us and use it to make some words. So when would we need this? When would we see this? Well, this is not a way that you're gonna like start writing. You're not gonna write sentences this way because it takes a long time. This is when you're trying to turn words into more of a decoration. This is if you're the kind of person who's gonna make posters and logos for companies and things like that, or posters and logos and things for yourself, then this is one of the ways that you can turn words into more like art than just words. One of the examples that always pops into my head when I see words written like this is superhero stuff. What am I talking about? Well, look up here, and I think I have to duck because it's gonna take up a lot of this space. So I'm gonna come down here for a minute and talk to you. So if you look up there, that's what I'm talking about. This Superman logo is not just plain old boring letters, right? It's got perspective. We can see if those letters were shapes, we could see how those shapes would go. I don't even know if I'm low enough yet. Maybe I am. I hope I am. We can see how the shapes of those letters goes away from us as things would in real life. Now, we don't always have a Superman logo floating above our head like I do now, so this is not something we would like see in real life, but it's a way of using those ideas to make like a really cool effect on your drawings, especially drawings of words. You can also use this with shapes and things. So yeah, so today's kind of just a fun one. You've already learned a bunch about perspective. We've already talked about it a whole lot. Now we're just gonna see like one more way that we can use perspective to make stuff. So for the practice, for the project that we're gonna do today, you are going to use your name. It could be your first name, it could be your last name. I'm using my last name, and we're gonna start off by drawing them in block letters, and we'll talk about that here in just a second. So that's it. That's the plan. Let's all go make some awesome stuff. Alright guys, so for our project today, you're gonna need some paper, pencil. You'll definitely probably end up wanting an eraser on that pencil. And you don't have to have one. If you don't have one, that's fine. But if you have a ruler, your life's gonna be a lot easier if you have a ruler for today's project. I'm going to use a Sharpie just so you can see it better, but if I was doing this for any other reason on earth than wanting you to be able to see it, I would be using a pencil because this is an easy thing to make mistakes. Even if you're not making mistakes, there might be things you end up needing to erase, so pencil's gonna be the way to go. But I'm gonna use this Sharpie, so we'll see how that works. All right, so the first thing, let's talk about block letters. We said we were going to write our names and we were gonna use block letters to do it. Now we've talked about this just a little bit. A block letter is basically a way to take a regular letter, like my H there, but instead of drawing it with lines, like we normally would, we are making a shape out of it. There's a lot of different ways to make these. There's a lot of different styles of block letters. So whichever way you want to do it is fine. I put some examples of an entire letter, an entire alphabet of block letters on the page below. So look at those, because for what we're doing today, having block letters with corners is going to be easier than if it was rounded. So what I mean by that, if I was to make a block letter C and I wanted it to look kind of like a normal C, I might do something like that. But for today's thing that we're doing, where corners are going to make our lives easier, I might make it something, well, something a little more like that. So there's only straight lines and corners. They might be at an angle. So like if I was trying to make, I don't know, an O, instead of having two circles for my O, it might be something more like that. All right, so that's kind of step one to think about. You're gonna need to start that way. Now, one real quick reminder about how perspective works with shapes. If we're trying to draw a shape and we want it to look a little more realistic, we would show more than just one side of it. So it's the difference between a square and a cube. Like that. That's the big difference. This one's showing perspective. If we were looking at this same thing from right up the front, it might look like that. But if we got any distance away from it really, and it was three-dimensional, then we would see some of the other sides. So that idea, what's happening there, when I choose where those lines are gonna go, they're all going really far away, but they're going to like the same spot, and it's called the vanishing point. So if we didn't stop our cube and we made it keep going, it would look like it was going to like infinity. For a lot of us, that's going to be just kind of a reminder for some stuff we talked about at the beginning of the year. For some of us, that might be new. All right, so let's get started. So I went ahead and made my name in block letters. Now, the first thing I'm going to decide is, do I want my letters to look like they are going far away from me to infinity, to forever? Or do I want them to, you know, get a little smaller, show that perspective, but stop somewhere? Kind of like the example in our Superman logo did. I think I will do it both ways real quick so you guys can kind of see that they work a lot the same, but there are some kind of important differences. All right, so the first one I'm going to do is the one where it goes forever. And after I explain just a little of it, I'll speed it up so you're not sitting here for a really long time. So I need to pick a point, and that's going to be the thing that we're going to call our vanishing point. That's where everything goes and goes and goes until it gets so far away we can't see it anymore. That's why it's called the vanishing point, because it vanishes. So it doesn't matter where, it's going to be easier if it is somewhere near the middle of your name. So not way over here, not way over there. This will work if you do it above or below, so that's kind of up to you. I've got this a little lower on my page though. I've got more space up here. So because of that, I'm gonna pick above my name and I'm gonna make a little bitty spot right up there. You might be able to see it, you might not. It's tiny. So now, I've got all these good corners on these letters. I'm actually gonna try and use a pencil. I hope you can see it. If not, I'll make it darker. See, I'm already nervous I'm gonna mess something up. So I'm gonna start here and just work my way over. And from the corners, which there's a lot of corners on a lot of these things, right? So like just the top of my H, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 corners. From each one of those corners, I'm gonna draw a line that goes all the way to my vanishing point. And even though they're all gonna start in different places, they're gonna stop in the exact same place. And then I'm gonna come over to this one, and I'm gonna do all my tops first. 2 tops on the O, 2 tops on the L. You get the idea. So I'm gonna go ahead and speed up this process. And I think I will switch to the Sharp because I don't know how well you can see the other thing. All right, here we go. All right, so that's a good start. We're gonna start with the tops and then we're gonna kind of work our way down. And what that's gonna do is gonna help us to like not draw over areas that we're gonna need to make more lines. So those tops, those are gonna be about the only ones that I can make a line that goes straight from here to there without hitting anything else. Everything else pretty much, except maybe down here on some of these L's, everything else, I'm gonna start somewhere, but then I'm gonna hit something else probably. So like on this H, I've got a corner here. I'll line my ruler back up. And instead of going all the way there, I'm just gonna stop when I hit something. Now, this corner, I can't make any line at all from that one because it's just already going to be inside of the H. If I keep going down, I'll do the same thing. And one more here. This side of the H is gonna stop when it hits the O, like that. So I'm gonna keep going down the line and I'm gonna make all those other lines from the other corners. But remember, it's important that when you hit something else, you stop. All right, so there it is. I've got all of my corners. I've got lines starting at my corners going all the way way far away to my vanishing point. Now, when it comes time to color this, I don't want to color it all one color. I want to try and make some separation between the front letters and then the other sides of the letters that are going, you know, really, really, really far away from us. So I'm going to pause on that one for a second and we're going to look just one more thing. Now, what if we wanted it to stop like the like our Superman logo did? I'm still going to pick a spot. Put it right here, we'll say. This one will be a little more challenging if you choose to do it this way. Then I'm going to draw a line. I'm going to use a pencil because I'm going to want to erase probably a whole bunch of it. And I'm just going to go straight across like that. Now, you might not even be able to see it, but there's a line right there. So now I'm going to do the same thing with one like really important difference. Instead of going all the way to that vanishing point, I'm going to stop when I hit the line that I just drew, like that. And as I go across, since this is straight up here, I can go ahead and make a straight line for that back there. And I'm going to keep going. All the way through here. So now with this O, since that's not straight across the top and it hides behind that L, I can kind of fake it, make my little angle for it back there. All right, back at it. And like with that one, I needed to stop and show where the backside of the L is. So, I mean, I think at this point you can kind of see how this would work. But hopefully you can also already see that this way, for what we're doing, it's gonna be a lot tougher. If you want to try it this way, that is fine by me. I'm always happy when you choose to challenge yourself, but it's hard. So this one might take some effort. I'm gonna leave this one right there because honestly, without a pencil, I know I'm gonna make some mistakes. I already kind of messed up on the L. I'm going to color this one. I'm gonna do that real quick and then we'll take a look at it and then you can get started on yours. All right, so there we go. There is my name drawn in perspective like it's on the front of a comic book. If you are struggling with this, that's fine. Take your time, try and work on it a little bit. This can be kind of challenging. If you're having a hard time, then shorten it. Make it just your initials or something and go with that. All right, everybody, can't wait to see yours. I'm sure they're gonna turn out awesome. Do your best. Remember, that one's an option, but it's gonna be tough. Can't wait to see them. See you guys later. Bye.